and welcome to Itsy Bitsy Bookworms Radio, where we are all about the kids. I am Pamela Hornsby Irvin, author, educator, entrepreneur, and motivational speaker. I will be your host for the next hour. So, listeners, now is your opportunity to grab a pen and some paper so that you can jot down information I am sure that you can use. So, without further ado, I would like to introduce my guest for today, Dr. Monisha Dashel. Welcome, Dr. Dashel.
Thank you, Miss Pam. I'm so delighted to be here. I'm honored to be here, and thank you for having me on your show today. And hopefully I have some great information and help answer questions for parents on today. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome. And again, thank you for joining us at Itsy Bitsy Bookworms Radio, where we are all about the kids. So, Dr. Dashel, I'm just going to jump right on in and ask the question, why is writing so important for children?
The reason why writing is so important for children is because they will need to write in order to complete their tasks through homework, schoolwork, or special projects. And these tasks require them to write clearly and organize information effectively. And the more children do this, the more they do it at home, the more they do it at libraries or at a family or friend's house, it will build strong writing skills for them. So this is why writing is important.
Okay, so basically the more children write and the more they'll, master the skill of writing. And what do you suggest, they can write about anything?
They can write about anything, but I highly request that parents allow that anything to be appropriate. Don't let it be inappropriate. For example, let them write about their favorite snack. Let them write about their favorite celebrity or their favorite teacher or their favorite librarian. Let it be appropriate what they're writing about.
Okay, well, absolutely. That makes a lot of sense to me. So how can parents actually help their children become strong writers?
Parents, they can help their children become strong writers by providing pencils, crayons, markers, yarn, ribbon, writing paper or notebook paper, cardboard, heavy paper, construction paper, and safety scissors. And the reason why parents will want to provide these things because it would encourage them to become strong writers. They will begin to build confidence that this is something that I can accomplish. This is something that I can do because my parents are involved. And the reason why their parents are involved because they have purchased these items. And I want the parents to know they don't have to go to the most expensive store to provide these things. They can go to Dollar General, Family Dollar, Dollar Tree, to provide these items for their kids.
And also, I'm sorry, go ahead, Dr. Dashel.
And I was going to add, it don't have to be the most expensive store. I mean, if you can find these items at yard sales. Some places in the community, they donate these items for your children. So this way, they will begin to build strong writing skills. This will really help the children. But I just want parents to know they don't have to spend a whole lot of money on these things.
And not only that, parents, if you provide these materials and items for your children to write, then perhaps they won't use the walls in the house because the walls in the house we know are very exciting to children to write on. So if you provide them with all of these materials that Dr. Dashel just, spoke about, then it will keep the kids off the walls and, off various items in the house, like the tables and whatnot. So that's a very good information, Dr. Dashel. And not only that, something that you said made me think about this as well in regards to the pencils important when you're speaking in, directly at smaller kids because don't they have to have the fatter pencils and crayons in order to help them, manipulate their and master their writing skills?
Yes, they do. It's very important. They have to have those type of supplies in order to be successful in their writing skills.
Okay, well, awesome. Yeah, that is important because you give a child that has emergent writing skills a tiny crayon or a tiny pencil, they cannot grip that. So if they can't get a good grasp on the pencil or the crayon or whatever writing implement that they're utilizing at the time, they're not going to be able to make the most out of their writing experience because it's all developmental and they go through various stages in regards to writing. So the first stage is to be able to manipulate the larger pencils and crayons before they graduate to the smaller ones.
Right.
So, Dr. Dashiell, what do parents need to provide so that their children will be successful in writing?
Parents, they need to provide, first of all, a place, an appropriate place. It's important for your child to have a good place to write, such as a desk or a table with smooth, flat surface. It is also crucial to have good lighting because if a child is writing and they don't have appropriate lighting, they won't be able to see what they're doing. They won't be able to see anything that they're writing. So I highly recommend that when parents provide these type of table settings, that they have appropriate lighting. Have the room lit where they can see what they're doing. And parents need to also provide materials, provide plenty of paper, lines, or unlined. So the paper can be lined or it can be unlined paper. And things to write with, including pencils, pens, and crayons. They will need these things to help them be successful in writing. And parents need to also provide brainstorm. And what I mean is they need to talk with the child as much as possible about his or her ideals, impressions, and encourage him or her to describe to people and the events to their parents. So I think it's, important that parents also brainstorm their children, ask their children what they're planning on writing about. Try to find out where the children's mind is before they start writing.
Right. So basically, the parent needs to try to pull that ideal from within the child and, help them to take it from, inwardly and from their minds into and onto the paper.
Right. You're exactly right. Try to brainstorm and find out where the child is going with on the paper. You're right. Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, that makes a lot of sense to me. So is writing an important element of a child's education? I mean, how important is it if it's important to a child's education?
It is very important to the child's education. Okay, whether the students are writing by hand or on a computer, many assignments and exams require students to write short answers and some long answers for essays as a way of accessing that they have learned. As students get older, they will be expected to show more sophisticated writing skills and to complete more sophisticated tasks through their writing. And in addition, many colleges and universities require students to write essays as part of their admission and applications. And the reason why I'm talking like that is because in elementary school, we're trying to prepare them for middle school, high school, and college. So when they start this at an early age, when they get to college, they'll be doing sophisticated writing. Their writing skills will advance because most employees require clear writing. They want to be able to understand what they're reading when they're getting ready to hire these students.
Right. So, but parents, when your little ones are starting to write. Now, don't expect for them to write or spell the word correctly,
Right.
because that's not the important thing. The important thing is them actually um, gaining those strong small motor skills, and getting their thoughts from their head to the paper. So don't, worry about the spelling or even the grammar or punctuation, so to speak. Just let them write freely when they're first starting to write, and then as they progress, their writing, as they get older, their writing should progress. You should see progression. Now, you shouldn't see this in a third grader or fourth grader. You see it in the smaller kids, the preschool age children, first, second grade or whatnot. But, after that, then their writings will progress and their spelling will get better, and then they will learn about punctuation and so on and so forth. Do you find that to hold true, Dr. Dashel?
I find it to be the whole truth. When my
Okay.
students write, I don't expect for their paperwork to be perfect. The only thing I ask my student is to try. So when I see misspelled words, that's fine, it's normal. That's what I'm there for, to help them correct their spelling. I'm there to help them with their writing. I'm there to help them make the correct punctuations or writing sentences. So, no, I don't expect for their paper to be that perfect every day. No, I don't.
Okay. So, can you tell me, Dr. Dashel, why is writing an important form of communication?
The reason why writing is an important form of communication, because it would teach children to write letters, as well as emails, and common way of keeping in touch with their friends, relatives, and professional colleagues. Writing is frequent in final stages in communication when students want to leave no room for doubt, which is why they write and sign certain papers on certain exams. For example, my children, when they create books, writing books, on the front of the book, it'll say bye. And by the word bye, they will write their name. So this is why I say it is a very important form of communication, even in their writing. They understand that by this word bye, I have to write my name, because it's helping them create books. It's teaching them how to be authors. It's teaching them how to write. So that's important as a form of communication.
And one thing I found when I was in the school teaching is that a lot of children do not know how to, and this is elementary age children, don't know how to address the envelope. We had a program that was sponsored by the United States Postal Service, and it was called We Deliver. And it was basically put into place to help children learn how to address envelopes,
Right.
specifically, and also to increase their writing skills and help them to master their writing skills. And it came into the school, and each classroom, the school was set up like a post office. Each classroom was a different address. And the kids,
Wow.
and this is a great program, and the kids would
Interesting.
write their friends in the different classrooms, because it was different addresses. They could write a letter, a poem, or, thank you note, whatever it is that they wanted to write. And they had to put it in, an envelope, and then they had to address the envelope. And we would give them, the little stickers that you can get from the dollar store or whatnot. and we would use those as stamps, you know, or the kids could actually even, create their own stamps. And, in the lower level
Wow.
of the school, by the cafeteria, there was mailbox, and we had to have the different employees. We had the clerk
Wow.
who, they divided the mail. We had the mail carrier to distribute the mail to each classroom. So we had a postmaster to make sure that
Wow.
everything was going accordingly and nobody was putting anything inappropriate in the envelope. And it was the coolest program. So I mentioned that to say, parents, start helping your children learn how to address envelopes and write, where it's going and who it's coming from, because that's a form of communication, and that's a skill that our children need to learn how to master. Because if they, don't know how to address an envelope, well, obviously their information is not going to go to the appropriate place or the appropriate people. So, and it will get returned to the sender, because we had a kid at the school who loved to stamp return to the sender if something was not on there. It should have been. So
Wow.
you can even start with that, an envelope, and assist your children with learning how to address an envelope. So, moving on, Dr. Dashiell, what can
Yes.
parents do to help their children's writing skills improve? If you see that your child is struggling with writing, what can parents, grandparents, caregiver of children help the child um, improve their writing skills?
That's a good question. It is important to remember that writing can be as difficult as a subject to teach and access as it is to learn. Many children have problems with writing with clarity, coherence, and organization, and this can be discouraged to them from writing if they feel frustrated. That's where parent involvement can make a big difference. Parents, encouraging your child to develop strong writing skills at a young age and to become a better writer as he or she gets older can have a lifelong positive impact on him or her writing and make writing an easier and more enjoyable process for him or her. To get you started, the Department of Education offers a number of ideas or things you can do to help your child become a stronger writer. Many of these ideas apply to younger children. They can be adapted for older children as well. To learn more about ways to support your children if they continue to struggle with writing in the middle school or elementary school, I always ask parents to read to get an understanding. Parents should encourage their child to also write their name. Practice with him or her with writing a name and point out the letters in him or her name when you see them in other places. For example, on the sign, he or she may start by only writing the first letters of him or her name, but as soon the rest will follow. I highly recommend games, fun games also. I hope I
Okay.
answered your
So
question.
you did. So
Okay.
um, what type of games do you suggest that parents purchase for their children in order to help them master their writing skills?
There are numerous games and puzzles that can help children with writing while increasing their vocabulary. Some of these may include crossword puzzles, word games, flashcards. They're usually easy to make at home. Parents can purchase them in stores, or parents can make them at home. But I have found that these crossword puzzles and word games are very helpful. Being a word game is helpful. That's a fun activity that most children love to do with words. So those are the games that I highly recommend. There may be some more out there, but from my experience, this is what I found to help children with their writing.
Okay. My next question to you is, in order to write, children have to have strong small motor skills, and I kind of touched on that earlier. But what type of toys can parents purchase for their children to help them with, to help them build strong small motor skills? Because that's really what it takes to have the strength in the fingers and whatnot in the hands to be able to wrap their little fingers around the pencil or the crayon and, have a firm grip in order to, manipulate their writing tools. So what type of toys can parents purchase for their children to help them out in that area?
The type of tool that I've seen to help children with developing a grasp on the pencil up here in Maryland is called a ring pencil, where you stick the ring on top of the pencil and the child slide their hand in it, and it helps hold a tight grip on their hand, and it starts helping the child to form letters. It's called a ring. So I don't know what they call it. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, because I want to make sure that I'm understanding, and I want to make sure that the, listeners are understanding. It's called a ring, R-I-N-G.
It's called a ring. It's a ring pencil. You stick, it's like a ring. The child will stick their hands in it, maybe one or two fingers, and this ring pencil, it helps them hold their hand in place to have a tight grip when they're writing.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I've seen some students use it in our school.
So where would the parents find this ring pencil? Where could they most likely find one?
They can find them at Walmart, Target. I don't know if Kmart is still open in some places. Maybe Dollar General.
Dollar General, Kmart.
And you may want maybe Michael's, and you may want to try some craft stores.
Okay, listeners, are you writing this down in order to find a ring pencil, a pencil that can help your younger children master and develop their writing skills? You can find them at Kmart or did you say Walmart, Michael's craft store perhaps? There's some other craft stores too. I can't think of the name right now, but perhaps maybe you can, go in and take a look to see if they have those available for purchase, because having the right tools, children and anybody and anything that you do, when you're trying to get the best of what it is that you're trying to accomplish, you have to have the appropriate tools to utilize. So if you have made sure that your children have the appropriate tools, that will cut down and alleviate some of the frustration that Dr. Dashiell spoke on earlier. And as our children learn and develop, we don't want them to become frustrated in what it is that they're, trying to do. We kind of want them to have it easy peasy, like a smooth sail form, as much as we possibly can, because we don't want to discourage them from writing. And that's anything. Reading is the same way, because reading and writing, they go hand in hand. So whatever you do, you want to try to alleviate as much frustration as you possibly can and allow for them to learn in a, pretty smooth manner, because you can think about yourself and say, well, hey, if something is really difficult for me, I'm having a difficult time, I'm only going to try this so many times. And if it's not working out the way that, I would love for it to work out, then, how many times do we say, just forget it? So imagine how a little person would feel. So if they're working with the proper tools, then they can master a particular skill. They can master, the writing skill and whatnot, and, move on. And then that instills confidence within them. Dr. Dashel, your thoughts on that?
Everything that you said is on target, because you don't want to frustrate your child to the point where it discourages them from writing because they don't have the ability to write. So when you purchase the ring and pencil, it will give them the ability. It will give them the confidence, I can do this. I can accomplish this. I can make my parents proud. I can make myself proud, because now I have the ability to write and show my work to my friends, family, or my teachers. It would build their confidence. And I think the ring pencil is a great tool right now for most students that have that problem with gripping pencils.
Right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to make, put emphasis on that, and give the parents some time to go and get a pen and some paper to write that down, and so that they can go out and look for that ring pencil and purchase it to make their children's, writing experience a lot more fun.
Right.
So,
you want them to have
Doctor,
fun.
Yeah, you do. You want to have fun while you're learning, because, everything that really applies to little people, you can kind of base what you do on how you feel about things as an adult. If it's going to be boring to you, it's going to definitely be boring to a child. If it's frustrating to you, it's definitely going to be frustrating to a child. So, we as parents, we have to take all of that into consideration and just allow the child's learning to be a fun-filled experience.
Right.
So, Dr. Dashel, should parents turn their children's writing into books?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea that parents should turn their children's writing into books. I think parents should page his or her drawings and writings on pieces of construction paper, colorful construction paper. And for each book, I think parents should make a cover out of heavier paper or cardboard paper and add special art, a title, and his or her name as the author, punch holes in the pages and covers, and bind the book together with yarn and ribbon. And the reason why I say that, because when parents are involved, when parents are there to show that love and support to their child, that builds the child's confidence to keep on writing and practicing. So when they see the parent involvement making these things for them, it gives them hope that they can write. I have the chance to build my my writing skills, because they see all these different colors, they see the decorations, they see the enhancement of their work. So I think it's important that parents should turn their children drawings and writings into books, because the child can go back and read that book. Everything that parent has created for that child's book is going to draw their attention, because they're looking at how the book was created and who the book was created by.
Right.
So I think that's important. I think it's fun.
Right, absolutely. So parents, now take heed to this tip that Dr. Dashel is giving you. Participate and be an active participant in your child's development. And just you being there, asking questions, even sitting down and helping illustrate some of the illustrations to the book that the child is writing, help the child and let them know that what they're doing has some value to it and it has some worth. Because, kids look up to parents, grandparents, and their caregivers for validation, so to speak. So if it's cool, with the grown up, then it has to be all right for me to do it.
Right. Uh-huh. Exactly.
So, the next question is, should parents encourage their children to write? Why should parents encourage their children to write?
The reason why parents should encourage their children to write is because it gives your child the opportunity to practice writing by helping him or her sign birthday cards, write stories, make lists, take notes, help them create little mini essays. So parents should encourage their child to write. When your child is writing, ask them, what are you writing about? What is your topic? What is your interest in writing? That way, when you ask these questions, as the child is writing, it will build their confidence. They will begin to have things placed in their mind, different ideas as to what they can write on. So I think parents should be there when their children are writing, especially when they're at home, because it gives them that opportunity to, create different styles of writing. It gives them that confidence.
And not only that, parents and grandparents and caregivers of children, have them write out the grocery list.
Right.
Who wants to write out a grocery list? What adult really wants to write out a grocery list? So how about while you're going and you're taking an inventory of what you need to purchase, what you have, on stock or in stock, tell the child to write down what you need to get from the grocery store. And that way, that's encouraging the child to write as well. Not just the little people. I mean, elementary age students as well. Have them sit down and write out their grocery list. So you could do something else, and they can write out the grocery list.
Right. And I want to add, when the children are writing, parents should encourage their child to take notes on trips, outings, and describe, let the child tell you what he or she saw as they're writing. This could include a description of a nature walk, a boat ride, a car ride, or other events that lend themselves to note-taking. And parents also encourage your child to copy. If your child likes a particular song, suggest that she or he learn to write the words by writing them down. I also encourage copying favorite poems or quotations from a book or play. This also will build their writing skills too, and not only build their writing skills, but this will make a fun activity for them. It would encourage them to keep on writing.
Absolutely. And when you were speaking in regards to going on trips and having the children write down what they saw, what they experienced or whatnot, you can turn that into a book. Let's just say, for instance, during the summer when the children are out of school and they're taking trips, each trip that they've experienced, they can write that, and then they can have a culmination or a compilation of the trips that they've had and place it in the book. That would be a great book to create.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it would be. Okay, well, listeners, we're going to take a short break at this time, so we'll be right back at you with Dr. Cashel. welcome back to Itsy Bitsy Bookworms Radio, where we are all about the kids. Today's guest is Dr. Monisha Deschel, and we are discussing the importance of writing, the importance of children learning to write. Welcome back, Dr. Deschel.
Thank you. I'm so honored and happy to be here. I'm so excited thus far about everything we've discussed for writing. Parents, I hope I'm helping you out.
I know I'm excited as well. And once again, let me remind those who are just tuning in to grab a pen and some paper so that you can jot down information that I know that you can use. Again, we're discussing children and writing, the importance of writing. So why is it important for parents to respond to their children's writing?
It's important that parents respond to the ideas your child expresses verbally or in writing. Make it clear that you are interested in what the writings convey, which means focusing on what the child has written rather than how it was written. It's usually wise to ignore minor errors, particularly at the stage when your child is just getting ideas together. That's why I was saying earlier, when your child is writing at home, be at home to help assist them. Praise your child for what they're doing. Let them know that you appreciate them for trying. Let them know that you appreciate them for attempting to do their writing. You know, when they're writing, ask questions. You know, what are you writing about? What's your interest? So I think it's important that parents respond. You know, let the child know if they have missed a punctuation mark, or let them know if at the beginning of a sentence starts with a capital letter. That way, when they're writing, they'll take time out to read the sentence and say, oh, I need a period here, or I need a question mark here. Because even when you're writing, when you're writing, you want to make sure you have the correct punctuation marks also.
True, because the punctuation will determine which way the sentence is going, because you can have a group of words that mean one thing without a specific type of punctuation mark and mean something totally different with another. And where you put the commas and all of that, it can just really change the whole dynamic of what it is that you're trying to convey when when a child is writing, if you don't have the punctuation in there. And parents, you also take note of that as well when in regards to punctuation. I know, because I have to check myself sometimes. I'm like, okay, should I put a comma right here, or should I not, and does this need a semicolon or not? So you do have to be, really cognizant of your punctuation in writing, because if you're not, then what you're writing could, to the reader, be something totally different than what you initially wanted it to be. So, yes, punctuation is important for kids, but keep in mind, the age of the child that's writing. Because when you're speaking in terms of a little person, first grade, second grade, or a kindergartner or whatnot, let's not worry about all of that. Let's not worry about punctuation. They really start to focus more on punctuation. I think in third grade, when they start, focusing in on punctuation. Just allow the children to write, freely. And in regards to praising your child, Mother's Day is coming up. And, we always have Christmas, and you have Father's Day, and you have these particular holidays where the teachers in the classroom have the kids making cards. So when the children are making cards and they're writing in it, make sure that you praise them for writing inside the card, along with whatever decorations, that they may place on the outside, or illustrations that they may place on the inside. Make sure that you praise them for writing. Of course, it's going to go uphill. Some of the writing may go downhill. You might have some writing uphill and downhill. I still write downhill sometimes if I'm not too careful. So, praise them for writing whatever it is that they write on the inside because they really took time and effort to make that happen.
And I also wanted to add, parents, help your child with his or her writing as they get older. Ask your child questions that will help him or her clarify the details of his or her stories and assignments as they get longer and help him or her organize their thoughts. Talk about the objectives of what he or she is writing.
Okay. Parents, did you get that? Okay. So my question to you, Dr. Dashiell, what words of encouragement can you give today to parents concerning their child's writing skills? How can you help them to help their child? What kind of words of encouragement do you have?
Practice, practice, practice. Writing well takes a lot of practice. So make sure your child does not get disencouraged too easily. It's not easy. I'm not saying this is something that will just happen overnight, but I highly recommend that you give him or her plenty of opportunities to practice so that he or she has the opportunity to improve. And I highly recommend that parents help assist their children with any assignments that they may have. Just
okay, parents. Okay. So, assist their children in whatever writing assignments that they have, whether or not you are working with a smaller child or an older child, help them out because we all need help at some point in time in our lives and in our educational journey. So just take a little time out of your busy day because I know you're busy. We have a lot on our plate. I'm a parent as well, so I understand this. But try to carve out a little bit of time to work with their child and assist, your child in what it is that they are trying to accomplish.
And I also want to, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I also want to go ahead. Parents, your child doesn't have to write 30 minutes, 2 or 3 hours. At least 5 to 10 or 15 minutes is what I highly recommend. They don't have to. It doesn't have to be nothing long, drawn out, but just give them that time to practice. Let them practice writing numbers. Let them practice writing letters. Let them practice writing sentences. Let them practice writing thank you notes or a reminder note. Earlier, Ms. Pam mentioned, let them make the grocery list for you. Encourage them.
Right, encourage them. That's a reminder. Learning should be fun. Make it fun. Whatever you do, make it fun. And just think about yourself in the process because certain things you don't like to do, what's boring to you, what's exciting to you, what you absolutely just don't want to have anything to do with at all. So, the same thing applies to, children. Make it fun. Just make it fun. Learning should be fun. It shouldn't be that much pressure on your child, especially in the early ages.
Right.
3, 2, 3, 4, 5 years old, it should all be fun. One of the things that I enjoyed working for Head Start is that their foundation is built on, learning through play. That's their policy. They work with creative curriculum, and everything is through play. There's nothing too structured, but the whole idea is children having fun as they learn and having fun learning and not even realizing that they are learning. So just keep it in mind, parents, to make whatever activity you do with the child, reading activity or whatnot, just make it fun. So therefore you won't discourage them from wanting to write at all. So, Dr. Dashiell, what is the average age that kids start to write from what you've seen, from what you know in their early childhood development?
The average age starts at the age of 3. Believe it or not, it starts at 3. When I first
that's young.
When I first majored in early childhood education, I was shocked. My mouth just dropped. I'm like, it starts at the age of 3. I'm thinking maybe when they get like to maybe kindergarten or second grade.
Right.
But parents, it actually starts at the age of 3. And believe it or not, they hold a pencil straight up and down, and they clench fists. They begin to understand that text goes from left to right. Wow, isn't that amazing?
That is amazing.
They attempt to write letters and words by making scribbles. That's what I was saying earlier. Don't worry about if they make a mistake. Don't worry about if the punctuation is not correct. I mean, you want to encourage it, but if it's not correct, don't worry. If they're scribbling, guess what? That's a step. They're making progress. At the age of 3, this is when your child starts writing. And they move from scribbles to squiggles, which stands for something very specific, such as a list to recite or a story to tell. They try to make some letters of the alphabet and copy them. They draw repeated lines across a page that looks like waves with high and low points, like letters. Maybe they're able to spell their own name. Some children can spell their own name, but it may not be the way that we think it should look. But they're actually beginning to spell their own names. They begin to dictate stories and watch adults write down sentences and begin to recognize some of the words that they have dictated. So this is amazing. I mean, as a teacher, I was shocked.
And I know one of the things that we used to do, one of the exercises we used to do when I was teaching with the Head Start program is to, actually let the child sign in the morning. Because, if you've ever taken your child to a daycare, facility center or whatnot, a Head Start center, you have to, as a parent, you have to sign in when you drop the child off, and you have to sign out when you pick the child up. So we used to actually have the child sign in, have a sheet for the parent, have a sheet for the child. The child would sign in his or her name, and at the end of the day, the child would sign out his or her name. So,
right.
With that particular practice, it's just helping the children to realize that, wow, this writing has some, again, value. It's some worth to this. There's something to writing all of this down on paper. It means something. So, now I'm writing my name on here. Wow, that means something. So that would encourage them to want to write, and it would also build their confidence and their self-esteem. You should see them walking around there, like, hey, I just signed in my name. Look at me, work it. So those are the, things that you can also have your, little one do, sign off on some things, create a worksheet or something where they have to put their signature down, write out a check or something where they have to write their names, and that's a whole nother show. About, how to start them understand how to write, checks and different things like that at a particular age. So it can be done. Never underestimate the ability of little ones, because they'll shock you every time. I think as parents, we don't really realize what's going on with our little people, and I wanted to also make mention, parents, when your child is like at that age of 3, start watching them, start observing if they are scribbling and, scrabbling and so on and so forth. And if you don't see them doing this, then, it's time for you to start encouraging them to do that. Provide them with the tools that they need so they can, get that crayon and marker or pencil to the paper and start, scribbling or whatnot, because that's the first step to writing. It doesn't change. It's the same with kids all over the world. It's the same process. No child jumps from point A to point B. It's in child development, early childhood development. This is the process in which all children, they take. So pay attention and observe what your child is doing. So, okay, Dr. Dashel, let's talk about you. You have been a busy lady because you have written a host of books that assist children in various areas of learning. Can you share with us your website so that parents can take a look and perhaps even purchase some of these books?
My books are available through Amazon, Barnes & Noble, eBay, and you can also purchase the books through my website, which is on Facebook, and it is https://www.facebook.com/dro.dashiell, DASHIELL. You can purchase my books on those websites.
Dr. Dashel, that was long. Girl, that was long. Okay? So, if you don't mind, can you say that one more time to give the parents and, grandparents and caregivers of children an opportunity to write that down? If you can repeat it one more time.
Okay, and to make it short, you can just also locate me on Facebook, and I will make connections with you there. But
she just totally jumped from our website to Facebook, and she's like, okay, if this is too much for you, just go to Facebook. But no, really, if you could just give us the website address one more time.
The website is www.facebook.com/Dashiell, which is DASHIELL.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Dr. Dashel. And the last and final question, what inspired you to write books to assist children outside of the classroom?
What inspired me to assist children outside of the classroom was the fact when I started in the classroom doing my internship, I began to see a lot of children that were developmentally delayed. I saw children that could not pronounce or say beginning sight words. I saw children saying that their alphabets were their numbers and the numbers were their alphabets. I saw children that did not know what a sentence was. Just the basic academic issues I saw upon children. And this is why I was inspired to create children books so that children can learn. And even now I'm seeing it. And just like we're on here today talking about writing, I have a student right now, he's struggling. He can't form letters, he can't form numbers, and he don't know how to write his name. And as an educator, that saddens me. But what makes me happy is when he put forth the ability to try. Mm-hmm. What excites me is when he say, I'm doing my work today. I'm going to make my mom proud. I'm going to make Ms. D proud. He always calls me Ms. D. He's going to make Ms. D proud. I'm doing my work. I am so proud of him because guess what? Today, he could count to 20, He couldn't write his name. He didn't know his letters. He didn't know his alphabet. Ask me where this young man is at today.
Where is he, girl?
He's writing his name. He's writing his numbers and the alphabet quicker than I can ask him.
Wow, that is awesome and amazing. What an accomplishment. And I'm so
I had
sure.
to give that baby a hug. Yes, ma'am. My baby, he went on by his business.
Of course, and I'm so sure that his confidence and his self-esteem went up like several notches from, seeing himself where he was and seeing himself where he is today. And, I give a big shout out to educators who work with children to afford them the opportunity to see accomplishments and advancements in what it is that they are trying to achieve. And with that, I'd like to thank you once again, Dr. Gresham, for being a guest on Itsy Bitsy Bookworms Radio, where we are all about the kids. And, of course, I will have you back because, again, you have a host of books, and we will definitely discuss each one and have a conversation about it. So, again, I would like to give a big shout-out and thank you to all my listeners. Make sure that you tune in next week for information I am so sure that you can use. And, parents, grandparents, and caregivers of children, it is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. And that's the words of Frederick Douglass. Make uplifting your child a part of your daily routine. If you would like to be a guest on Itsy Bitsy Bookworms Radio, please email me at itsybitsybookworms.2016@yahoo.com. And if you want to know, if you want to know what's coming up for the following week, go to Itsy Bitsy Bookworms fan page and check it out. There will be some clues as to what's coming up on the following week. And make sure that you hit the like button. And thank you to all of the listeners who went to Itsy Bitsy Bookworms fan page and hit that like button. Thank you so much for that. And make sure that you tell a friend to tell a friend about Itsy Bitsy Bookworms Radio every Sunday, 3 o'clock Central Standard Time, 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Thank you again, listeners, and may the Most High watch between you and me when we are absent from one another. And remember, people, have a lovely day. Peace and love. Thanks again for tuning in.